Hello folks, this is Don Cloud from Cloud Financial with your December 2014 Educational Economic Update. In this month's video, we'll discuss some of the economic events that occurred last month to give you some insight into what they mean for you as an investor. Please stay tuned at the end for a required disclosure statement. December was a fickle month for markets that forced investors to weigh positive domestic fundamentals against fresh worries from abroad. Let's take a look at what happened last month. Falling oil prices caused a lot of market uncertainty as investors grappled with what low prices mean for the economy. Since recent highs in June, oil prices have fallen nearly 50%. While cheap oil and gas are great for American consumers who have more money in their wallets around the holidays, it's bad news for oil producers. Countries like Russia and Saudi Arabia depend on oil revenues to balance their budgets. American producers need higher oil prices to make oil projects economically feasible. If prices stay too low for too long, it could destabilize many petroleum-based economies and shut down some U.S. oil projects. Holiday shopping kicked off in November, and despite a rocky Black Friday weekend, retailers hope that cheap gas and improving labor markets will boost sales. Sales between November and December are projected to grow at 4.1%, which is the biggest increase since 2011. On the other hand, many stores offer large discounts to lure shoppers, which may cut into the profit margins. The Commerce Department released another revised estimate of GDP, showing that the economy grew a whopping 5% in the third quarter. This is the fastest rate of growth seen since 2003. Even better, the biggest revision was in the personal consumption, which is the most important driver of economic growth. Now the question is, how much of that juice will be carried into future quarters? It's too soon to say for sure, but we hope that cheaper gas and a better job situation boosted the economy in the fourth quarter. Overall, 2014 was a good year for the U.S. economy. As the recovery moved into its fifth year, we finally regained all the jobs lost in the recession, and Americans started to believe in the economy again. Looking ahead, it's important to be cautious about markets in the coming weeks. Despite periods of volatility, markets did well in 2014, and a pullback is possible. Fundamentals are solid, and we expect a positive consumer sentiment and improving labor market to continue gains in 2015. On the other hand, significant uncertainties remain about how weakening global demand, low oil prices, and interest rate hikes will affect the U.S. economy. As always, we recommend focusing on your own investment strategies while allowing us to keep an eye on market conditions. I hope you've enjoyed watching our economic updates this year. We look forward to a very prosperous 2015 together. That's it for December Educational Economic Update. If you have any questions or concerns, please give our office a call at the number below. Now, here are some upcoming events that we'd like you to know about. Strategies for maximizing your Social Security benefits. Thursday, January 22nd at 6 p.m. at UAH. Retirement Planning Today. Tuesday, January 27th and February the 3rd from 5:30 to 8:30 at Drake State. Rejuvenate Your Retirement. Tuesday, February the 10th and 17th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Northwest Shoals. And once again, this is Don Cloud with Cloud Financial, signing off for the month of December 2014. If you have any questions about what you've heard in this update, or would like to discuss your personal financial situation, please give us a call at 256-715-0094. We'd be happy to talk to you.
While we believe the information in this report is reliable, we cannot guarantee its accuracy. Opinions expressed are subject to change without notice and are not intended as investment advice or a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. Please consult your financial professional before making any investment decision. Investment advice is offered by Horder Investment Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products are sold separately through Cloud Financial, Inc. Securities transactions for Horder Investment Management clients are placed through Pershing Advisor Solutions, Trust Company of America, Jefferson National Monument Advisor, Fidelity, Security Benefit Life, FC Stone, and Wells Fargo Bank, N.A.